The footage runs for 15 years. On 11 nights, something moves. 3-second silence. Single low piano note. Title card, Floor 7. Cut to elevator corridor, overhead lights, linoleum, the elevator at the far end. In 2003, a security technician named Dennis Park was doing routine maintenance at Mercy General Hospital in Ohio. On the 7th floor, sealed and decommissioned since 1980, he found a camera. Still running. No authorization. No installation record. No maintenance history. It had simply been there, pointing down the corridor of Floor 7 in the dark. For 15 years. 2 people who knew Dennis that week told me the same thing. He came in that morning looking like himself, and he left that evening looking like a man who had seen something he could not explain away. He quit 14 days later. He has not spoken publicly about what he saw. I have been trying to reach him for 3 months. To understand what was on that footage, you have to understand Floor 7. And to understand Floor 7, you have to start with one name. Patricia Voss. She was head nurse on Floor 7 from 1963 to 1971. Meticulous. Disciplined. Deeply respected. She kept a written record of every patient on that floor, every room, every procedure, every night, in a set of ledgers she stored in room 714. In October of 1971, Patricia Voss disappeared during her overnight shift. No struggle. No footprints leaving. No explanation. The only things left in her office were the ledgers. 15 years of her handwriting. Every page filled. The hospital sealed Floor 7 9 years later. Structural concerns, they said. No repairs have ever been made. The first person to disappear after the sealing was a nurse named Margaret Holloway. Before I tell you what happened, I want you to understand who she was. Margaret was 34. 8 years in emergency medicine, not because it was glamorous, but because she was genuinely good at staying calm when everything around her was falling apart. Her colleagues said she laughed too loudly and apologized for it every time. She had a 7-year-old son named Daniel. She'd transferred to Mercy General 6 weeks earlier for a shift schedule that let her walk him to school in the mornings. She had been at Mercy General for 6 weeks. No one had told her about Floor 7 yet. On November 14, 1983, Margaret finished her shift, said goodnight to 2 colleagues, and stepped into the elevator at 2:17 a.m. Security footage shows her entering. The doors close. The display ticks upward. Past 1. Past 2. Past 3, 4, 5, 6. It stopped at Floor 7. Margaret Holloway never came home. Daniel waited for her. She never came. Police searched Floor 7. Dust lay undisturbed on every surface except in one room at the corridor's end. Room 714. Patricia Voss's room. Where the ledgers were. The dust there had been swept clean in a perfect circle. No footprints entering. No footprints leaving. The case is still open. Daniel Holloway is in his late 40s now. He has never stopped asking what happened to his mother. After Margaret vanished, the hospital hired a private investigator, quietly, unofficially, to examine Floor 7 without attracting attention. Howard Greer. Former detective. 20 years on the force. Not someone who's scared easily. He spent 3 nights on Floor 7 and kept a journal. I obtained a copy through records requests after the hospital's 2017 closure. Night 1, 3 pages. Clinical. Controlled. His handwriting neat and even. Night 2, half a page. The letters larger. Slightly uneven. He writes, sounds in the corridor. Checked twice. No source identified. Then mid-sentence, he stops. The rest of the page is blank. Night 3, 1 sentence. It knows I'm here. Greer returned his retainer the next morning. Refused to discuss it. Never explained the sentence. I found him. He's 79, lives in rural Kentucky. I sent a letter with one question. What did you hear on the second night? He wrote back 2 words. Don't ask. I'm still asking. By 1994, the story of Floor 7 had become legend at Mercy General. Every new hire heard a version of it in their first week. Every nurse refused to go there. The rule was unwritten, unspoken, and absolute. Claire Ashworth was the exception. She was 26, top of her cohort, had worked high-dependency wards during placement and come out intact. She had the particular confidence of someone who had been tested hard and not broken. Ghost story culture, she called it during orientation. Veterans frighten the new nurses to feel important. I've seen it before. I'm not playing along. Roy Deacon, 12 years at Mercy General, listened to her without expression. Then said, "The floor doesn't need you to believe in it." Claire laughed. Roy didn't. 3 weeks later, at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, Claire stepped into the elevator after a check on floor 6. She stood in front of the button panel. She looked at the 7. And she pressed it. She told me she did it because she was, her exact words, tired of being afraid of a number. The elevator moved upward. The doors opened. Claire stepped out onto floor 7. Every nerve in her body screamed to go back. She told me the darkness felt active, not just unlit, but as if it was consuming the light behind her. The smell, antiseptic on top of something else. Something she couldn't name but recognized as wrong at a level below thought. She took one step forward. Then she heard it from the far end of the corridor. From room 714. The sound of someone turning the pages of a book. Slow, deliberate, patient. Like whatever was in that room had been waiting there for a very long time and was not surprised to hear her. Claire stepped back into the elevator. She did not look down the corridor. She pressed ground floor. She said nothing to anyone. For 15 years, she said nothing. But she kept one detail back, a detail she didn't reveal until 2009. I'll come to it in a moment. First, the footage. When Dennis Park reviewed the 15 years of Floor 7 footage, he found movement on 11 separate nights. Multiple figures. Moving purposefully through the corridor. Wearing what appeared to be old hospital uniforms, not contemporary ones. 3 of those nights matched exactly with incident reports from Floor 6 staff citing unexplained sounds and extreme unease. One was November 14, 1988, 5 years to the night after Margaret vanished. Another was October 23, the same month and day Patricia Voss disappeared. In 1971, the footage was logged as corrupted and scheduled for deletion. I have filed 3 records requests. No one has confirmed deletion. No one has denied it. The hospital is closed and the records office does not respond. Dennis Park still lives in Ohio. He still has a storage unit rented in his name. I'm still asking. In 2009, Claire Ashworth gave a recorded interview to a paranormal researcher. She was 41. She hadn't worked at Mercy General in 15 years. She described everything, the darkness, the smell, the sound of pages turning. And then she told the part she had kept secret. She said that when she stepped back into the elevator that night, when the doors closed and she felt safe, she looked up at the floor display. 7, 6, 5, 4. It paused. And in the reflection of the stainless steel doors, she saw someone standing behind her. She spun around. The elevator was empty. She turned back to the doors. In the reflection, it was still there. A woman. A nurse's uniform. Standing completely still. Looking directly at Claire through the reflection. Slowly, it raised one finger to its lips. Shoo. The doors opened. Claire walked out. She never returned to Mercy General. She ended the interview with one final detail. She recognized the uniform. She had seen it in a framed photograph in the hospital's history display. It was Patricia Voss's uniform. The nurse who vanished in 1971. Still keeping her records. Still keeping her silence. For 15 years, Claire had kept that secret. 3 months after the interview was published, Claire Ashworth's hospital employment records were found to be missing from the Mercy General database. Her personnel file, gone. A transfer request sent to her home address came back undelivered. Claire Ashworth, the one nurse who refused to refuse Floor 7, had vanished. Not from the floor. From everywhere. Mercy General Hospital closed in 2017. The building was purchased by a development company. Floor 7 is still sealed. Renovation has been delayed 3 times. No explanation given. Former employees who drive past at night report a light in the 7th floor windows, not every night, but on 2 nights without fail. November 14th. October 23rd. Every nurse at Mercy General refused floor 7. Margaret didn't know the rule. She vanished. Claire knew the rule. She went anyway. She came back. Then she vanished too. The floor doesn't need you to believe in it. If you're watching this right now alone in the dark, she already knows. Silence. No music sting. Ambient sound fades. Black.